And now Harry and Meghan have made a secret trip to see the Queen for the first time since 2020. Europe correspondent Kari-Anne Greenbank has more.
Has confirmed that Harry and Meghan have paid a secret visit to the Queen at Windsor Castle, and this is something that has Harry and Meghan driving into the castle, saying they waved at them and they even waved back. But this is the first time in 2 years that Meghan Markle has set foot inside the UK ever since the couple gave up their royal titles and moved to California.
Picture this, one of the world's busiest airports, thousands of travelers rushing through customs, and then suddenly, a scene that would make headlines across 3 continents. A woman demanding to be called Duchess by a United States customs officer who has absolutely no intention of playing along with royal fantasies. This isn't a scene from a Hollywood drama. This is the harsh reality check that Meghan Markle received at Los Angeles International Airport.
We spoke about this CBS interview on the show last week ahead of it being broadcast. I'd love both your takes on it. Angela, you first.
Yeah, look, to me, this is textbook Diana. You take an issue, you explore it, you investigate it. In this case, of course, it was the families who had lost their children.
And it's a moment that has exposed everything wrong with her post-royal delusion. What happened in those few minutes at LAX wasn't just an embarrassing public meltdown. It was the unmasking of a woman so completely disconnected from reality that she genuinely believed an American government official would bow to her demands for royal treatment. The customs officer's response was swift, professional, and absolutely devastating. Ma'am, we don't use royal titles here. Those 8 words didn't just shut down Meghan's tantrum, they revealed the fundamental flaw in everything she's built since leaving the royal family.
So this is a surprise for a lot of people. It's understood that their children, Archie and Lilibet, weren't in attendance this time, but Harry and Meghan are now on their way to launch the Invictus Games at The Hague tomorrow.
And we spoke to the Queen's former press spokesperson, Dickie Arbiter, a little earlier.
The scene unfolded like a masterclass in entitlement meeting reality. Meghan Markle, the woman who claims to want a normal life, stood in that customs line expecting anything but normal treatment. When the officer handed back her passport and addressed her as Miss Markle, witnesses say her demeanor changed instantly. The mask slipped, the carefully constructed public persona cracked. What emerged was someone so addicted to status that being treated like every other American citizen felt like a personal attack. This wasn't a misunderstanding or a cultural difference. This was Meghan Markle demanding that a United States government employee acknowledge a title that carries no legal weight in America. The audacity is staggering. She moved to California, claiming she wanted freedom from royal constraints, yet here she was, at an American airport, insisting on the very royal protocol she supposedly rejected. The hypocrisy couldn't be more glaring if it came with flashing neon signs.
I can see you're uncomfortable with my even going there. Do you?
I understand why you are, though. I wasn't expecting it, but I understand why you are.
Angela, what was the issue here?
Look, she clearly wasn't expecting that. You saw that gaze, that very, very angry, cold gaze. She's on camera. She can't go back from it. Look,
the customs officer's response represents everything that makes America different from the monarchy Meghan left behind. In the United States, titles don't matter. Birth circumstances don't determine treatment. Government officials don't curtsy to foreign nobility. When that officer said, "We don't use royal titles here," he wasn't being disrespectful. He was upholding the fundamental American principle that all citizens are equal before the law. Meghan's reaction to this basic democratic principle reveals how little she understands about the country she now calls home.
In that Oprah interview.
And in relation to that, look, we understand from reports that Meghan was apparently furious at this question being asked. Here it is.
You had suffered too, personally. Contemplating killing yourself is what suicidal ideation was.
Witnesses described Meghan's response as a combination of shock, anger, and visible frustration. One traveler noted that she looked like she expected the red carpet, but what she got was reality. This observation cuts to the heart of Meghan's fundamental problem. She has never fully accepted that leaving the royal family meant leaving behind royal treatment. She wants the independence without the anonymity, the freedom without the loss of privilege, the American dream while clinging to British aristocracy. The incident exposes the carefully constructed lie that Meghan and Harry have been selling since their royal exit. They claim to want normal lives, private existences, away from the spotlight and protocol of monarchy. Yet every action they take contradicts this narrative.
Bullying. The reason it's textbook Diana is it's exactly what she did. She found a cause, she put herself in the spotlight, she used media to draw attention to the cause. The problem with Meghan and Harry, though, is that they do not have royal backing. They're not royal adjacent, so they don't have the proven and legitimate.
From their Netflix deals to their Spotify contracts, From their Oprah interview to their public appearances, everything is marketed under the banner of their royal connections. Meghan doesn't introduce herself as a former actress or a humanitarian. She leads with Duchess of Sussex because that title is her entire brand. This airport confrontation wasn't an isolated incident. It was inevitable. Anyone who has watched Meghan's post-royal career could see that a moment like this was coming. She has spent years walking a tightrope between claiming to want privacy while constantly seeking publicity, between rejecting royal life while exploiting royal titles. That tightrope finally snapped at LAX, and the fall was witnessed by dozens of travelers who saw exactly who Meghan Markle really is beneath the carefully managed public image. The timing of this incident is particularly telling. It comes at a moment when public opinion about Meghan and Harry has already begun to shift. The initial sympathy they received after leaving the royal family has gradually eroded as their contradictions have become impossible to ignore. Americans, who initially supported what they saw as a brave stand against outdated institutions, are now questioning whether Meghan genuinely wanted change or simply wanted control. This airport scene provides a definitive answer. What makes this incident even more damaging is that it happened in America, Meghan's chosen sanctuary. She moved to California partly to escape what she claimed was unfair treatment by the British press and public. Yet here, in her adopted homeland, surrounded by fellow Americans, she displayed the exact same entitled behavior that made her unpopular in Britain. The problem wasn't the country or the culture, it was Meghan herself. The customs officer involved in this confrontation deserves recognition for handling the situation with perfect professionalism. Faced with someone demanding special treatment based on a foreign title, he maintained his composure and applied standard procedures equally. His response, calm, factual, and unbending, is exactly what American citizens should expect from their government employees. He didn't care about celebrity status, royal connections, or media attention. He simply did his job, and in doing so, he exposed Meghan's fundamental misunderstanding of American values. The international reaction to this incident has been swift and brutal. British tabloids, which Meghan has spent years criticizing, seized on the story with obvious delight. The Sun called it a royal reality check, while the Daily Mail described Meghan as barking at the officer. These headlines might seem harsh, but they reflected genuine frustration with Meghan's contradictory behavior. She spent years complaining about media coverage, yet she continues to provide exactly the kind of material that generates negative headlines. Australian and Canadian outlets picked up the story with similar enthusiasm, portraying Meghan as someone fundamentally out of touch with reality. The international nature of this coverage is significant because it shows that Meghan's reputation problems extend far beyond Britain. She may have thought that moving to America would give her a fresh start, but her behavior suggests that the problems were never geographical. They were personal. Royal commentators have been particularly scathing in their analysis of this incident. Richard Fitzwilliams remarked that this is what happens when you confuse celebrity with monarchy. This observation strikes at the heart of Meghan's fundamental error. She seems to believe that royal titles are simply another form of celebrity status, something to be leveraged for personal gain rather than markers of duty and service. This misunderstanding has led her to use her Duchess title like a designer accessory, something to flash when convenient and hide behind when challenged. The silence from Meghan's usually active PR team speaks volumes about how indefensible this incident is. Normally, when faced with negative coverage, Team Sussex moves quickly to reshape the narrative. They leak sympathetic stories, arrange friendly interviews, or release carefully staged photographs designed to show Meghan in a more favorable light. But this time, there's been nothing. No statements, no clarifications, no attempts at damage control. This silence suggests that even her most skilled publicists recognize that some stories can't be spun. The absence of any official response is particularly telling because this incident was witnessed by multiple people in a very public setting. Unlike other controversies that might involve unnamed sources or conflicting accounts, this confrontation happened in front of dozens of travelers who could verify exactly what occurred. Meghan's team knows that any attempt to deny or minimize what happened would be immediately contradicted by eyewitness accounts. This airport incident represents a fundamental shift in how Meghan Markle is perceived by the American public. When she first arrived in the United States after leaving royal life, there was genuine sympathy for her situation. Americans, with their historical skepticism of monarchy, were initially supportive of someone who appeared to be challenging outdated institutions. But that sympathy has gradually eroded as Meghan's true motivations have become clearer. The American public's reaction to this incident has been overwhelmingly negative, but not in the way Meghan might expect. people aren't criticizing her for being treated poorly, they're criticizing her for expecting special treatment. Social media responses have ranged from sarcastic comments like, "Someone tell Meghan this isn't Buckingham Palace," to more direct criticism about her apparent inability to accept equality. This shift in public opinion is devastating for someone whose entire post-royal brand depends on American support. The broader implications of this incident extend beyond Meghan's personal reputation. It raises serious questions about the wisdom of allowing former royals to retain their titles while living as private citizens in foreign countries. When Queen Elizabeth allowed Harry and Meghan to keep their titles after their royal exit, she may have inadvertently created a situation where royal protocol could be invoked inappropriately. This airport confrontation demonstrates exactly why royal titles and private citizenship don't mix well. The incident also highlights the fundamental differences between American and British approaches to authority and status. In Britain, royal titles still carry significant weight and are generally respected in official settings. But America was founded on the rejection of inherited privilege and aristocratic authority. The customs officer's refusal to use Meghan's title wasn't disrespectful, it was profoundly American. His response embodied the principle that in the United States, all citizens are equal regardless of their backgrounds or connections. Meghan's reaction to this quintessentially American treatment reveals how little she has adapted to her new country's values. After years of living in California, she still seems to expect the kind of deference that might be shown to royalty in other contexts. This suggests that her move to America was less about embracing American values and more about finding a new stage for the same royal performance she was giving in Britain. The timing of this incident, coming as Harry and Meghan attempt to launch new charitable initiatives, couldn't be worse for their public image. They're trying to position themselves as serious advocates for social change, focusing on issues like online safety and mental health. But how can they credibly speak about important social issues when Meghan throws tantrums about not being called Duchess at airports? The contrast between their stated mission and their actual behavior is stark and damaging. This airport confrontation also undermines the carefully constructed narrative that Meghan and Harry have been promoting about their reasons for leaving royal life. They claimed they wanted to escape the constraints of royal protocol and live more authentic lives. Yet here is Meghan, years later, still demanding the kind of royal protocol she supposedly rejected. This contradiction suggests that their departure from royal life was less about seeking freedom and more about wanting to control the terms of their royal status. The incident provides a perfect example of what happens when celebrity culture clashes with institutional authority. Meghan may be accustomed to VIP treatment in entertainment industry settings, where her royal connections open doors and generate special consideration. But government institutions operate by different rules, and customs officers aren't impressed by Hollywood status or royal titles. This clash between celebrity expectations and bureaucratic reality created the perfect storm that led to Meghan's public embarrassment. The long-term damage from this incident may be more significant than the immediate embarrassment. Public perception is often shaped by small moments that reveal character, and this airport scene reveals something fundamental about who Meghan Markle really is. It shows someone so divorced from reality that she genuinely believed an American government employee would acknowledge her royal status. This level of delusion is difficult to overcome with PR campaigns or sympathetic interviews. The incident also demonstrates the limits of Meghan's famous media manipulation skills. She has shown a remarkable ability to control narratives through carefully timed revelations, strategic interviews, and sympathetic media coverage. But this airport confrontation happened in real time, with real witnesses, in a context she couldn't control. When caught off guard, without scripts or handlers, her true character emerged, and it wasn't flattering. For someone who has built her entire post-royal brand on the idea of being a modernizing force who challenged outdated institutions, this incident reveals the opposite. Meghan isn't a reformer or a revolutionary, Spagan. She's someone who wants to preserve royal privilege while avoiding royal responsibility. She wants the crown without the constraints, the title without the duties, the status without the service. The customs officer who refused to call her Duchess has unknowingly become a symbol of something larger, the American refusal to be impressed by inherited privilege or foreign titles. His simple response, "Ma'am, we don't use royal titles here," represents everything that makes America different from the hierarchical societies that Meghan seems to prefer. In 8 words, he demolished years of carefully constructed royal branding. This incident will likely become a defining moment in how Meghan Markle is remembered, not for her charitable work or her advocacy, but for her airport tantrum when reality collided with her royal delusions. It's a moment that perfectly encapsulates everything wrong with her post-royal persona, the entitlement, the hypocrisy, the fundamental disconnect from the values of her adopted country. The airport confrontation at LAX wasn't just about a title or a moment of rudeness. It was about a woman who has never truly left the royal family behind, despite claiming she wanted nothing more than to escape it. Meghan Markle may live in California, but mentally and emotionally, she's still trapped in the palace, still expecting the curtsy, still demanding the deference that comes with royal status. The customs officer's refusal to play along wasn't just professional policy, it was a wake-up call that Meghan desperately needed but clearly wasn't ready to hear. The question now isn't whether Meghan can recover from this embarrassment, it's whether she's capable of learning from it. Based on her track record of doubling down when challenged and refusing to acknowledge criticism, the answer seems clear. This airport incident won't change Meghan Markle's day. It will simply reveal her more clearly to a public that is finally seeing through the carefully constructed facade she's maintained since leaving royal life behind